Hello and welcome to the first 2016 podcast from Rollin Dice Show, where we look back at 2015 and forward to this year. My name is Andy Jones and I'm here joined by Richard Smith. Hi Richard.
Hello Andy.
So it's just two of us today.
Because we don't have any friends.
Which, I mean, it's not true we don't have any friends, but we could have more, probably. So let's crack on straight away, and let's start back in 2015 for the end of year podcast that didn't happen. How do you think we did?
As a site?
He's literally dropped his pen, and as a site,
dropping everything.
How did we do?
I couldn't remember exactly what we'd done. I was pleasantly surprised when I looked back at how much stuff we put out last year. We did 30 reviews total.
30. That's not too bad.
Can you guess how many of those were video reviews, Mr. Jones?
4. I mean, 15.
No.
Somewhere in between.
Exactly. Yeah.
Somewhere
eight video reviews we did.
So that could be higher.
Obviously, we started out with Dan.
Dan
Cito, who helped out on a lot of those early videos.
Yep.
And then it faded out to just us scraping what we could get together.
Yep.
As life goes on, things get busier.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've done a whole ton of reviews, and thrown in with some written articles as well that have
some
done fairly well.
listicles.
Some listicles.
That's still doing well.
Yeah. I mean, the Cards Against Humanity piece, Alternatives to Cards Against Humanity.
That was 2014.
Was it? I thought that was January.
Who knows?
Not us,
I've
apparently.
not checked.
Not us, apparently. But yeah, so 30 total reviews, which I thought was a nice round number.
Nice. What was your favourite review we did?
Our favourite review...
Your favourite review? We did.
Probably the XCOM review.
Yeah, it's
I think that's... I was really happy with how that came out, and we didn't know what we were doing at all, so it was quite nice.
That was a fun one, wasn't it?
It was. Similar fun, the Imperial Settlers one, I think we both had a lot of fun with.
Yep. Hashtag Jones Nipple didn't trend though, which is a shame.
Yeah,
when you think about it.
But you'll have to watch the video to find out why you might want to.
Yeah,
hashtag
why you might not want to watch that video.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the same XCOM, which we did back in January. I think end of January, start of February.
Oh, it was early in the year. Yeah.
I mean, that got us a lot of hits as well, which was also really nice when you put the hard work in.
Yeah, and a lot of that was down to Asdevium and Jimmy of Loading Bar for getting us the invite to that.
Yeah, so we got early access, so we could play it a few times to review.
Yeah, which was cool. Good. It was really nice.
Good. What game did you want to play more of this year that you didn't get a chance?
Looking over at my ever-increasing library.
Sorry, can I rephrase that question? What non-Star Wars game?
So we're talking about games that I've spent less than £60 of and played more.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd have... Well, actually, one very specific game, probably Pandemic Legacy. I really wanted to finish that off before the end of the year.
Yep. I think that's fair.
And the stars just didn't align that way for us. But I know that's kind of cheating because we've played that a lot. That's seen a lot of table time. So much so that it's taken over our table time.
Pretty much the only
game we've been playing the last few.
I mean, mine's quite similar. It's the Marcy case
for T.I.M.E Stories.
Yeah, because we played the Asylum scenario and that was so much fun. And then we planned to play the Marcy case over the Christmas holiday, which we're ending today. And we didn't find the time to sit down and play that. So I'm really gutted because I think that's from what I've heard, it's very different to the Asylum scenario. So it's going to be interesting to try.
And in theory, the next scenario is coming out this month as well.
Yeah.
So
Is that the medieval Magic and Dragons one?
yeah.
Oh.
So
Which will be completely different again.
Yeah, it'll be a completely different system, but it is, to echo what a lot of critics have said, it is a bit odd that for the first 3 scenarios they've gone for Creepy Asylum, which is done to death, Zombies, which is done to death, and then D&D.
Yep.
But
Safe choices, though, which I could imagine, when you're trying to get people... Because really, you just need them to buy Time Stories the first time, and then you've got them hopefully hooked.
I'm quite intrigued as the one after that, which I think is the Egypt one, which could be quite cool.
That'd be a bit different, wouldn't it?
I mean, again, it's something that's been
Nice.
That's nothing terribly new, but it's different enough for me. And having said that, I had so much fun playing the Asylum case.
Yeah. Let's talk more about that later.
Indeed.
So, for the record, I presume Imperial Assault and Armada are both games you'd wish we'd played more of this year.
Of the two, I really wish we'd played more Imperial Assault. But the latest expansion to that, I'm definitely going to pick up. Which takes us to Hoth. Definitely going to pick up. Takes us to Hoth. I want to start a new scenario. We'll do it. We'll make it through the whole thing. I think probably Suburbia and 5 Star, the expansion. I really wish I've not played the expansion to that. We dived right into Suburbia when it came out. I know I think you've played it a bit less than I have.
Yeah, not when it came out.
No, sorry. Yeah, we dived into that early this year
when we got to it.
And because we played Castles earlier in the year. Which is obviously the same company, Bezier Games.
Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Indeed. And dived into that, and I really like Suburbia, the kind of weird SimCity mad thing that you create.
It's just another game that clicks you, isn't it?
It is. I don't know why. I really enjoyed that. And the 5 Star expansion came out whilst we were at Essen, I believe.
Okay.
So... I've not played that yet, and I really want to spend A, more time with Suburbia, and B, time with Suburbia 5 Star.
I think I've only played Suburbia the once, and it was an enjoyable game, but I'm not sure how much more I want to play it.
Yeah, I don't think you didn't take to it in the same way that I did.
I mean, I did all right.
No, sorry, I don't.
Ability-wise, how very rude, Richard.
I mean, in terms of enjoyment rather than.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't too bad, but it was. I'm a card game man, so I more prefer my LCGs.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it's Is there any game you didn't get this year? And I say this year as in 2015 that you wish you'd got.
It would have to be. Which is something that keeps slipping completely off my radar, and if he ever listens to this, he'll probably be very upset with me for saying this. Eric Lang's Blood Rage.
Oh, yeah?
Because I got really excited about it whilst it was Kickstarter, and at that point I wasn't kickstarting expensive stuff.
Yep. And
expensive stuff that they kept adding stuff to as the Kickstarter campaign goes on, because that's a bit of a pet peeve for me.
Yep.
As it is for you, I know, from the Ghostbusters debacle.
Solid article I wrote earlier in the year.
Yeah. So that I kind of missed it at Kickstarter, and then it came out and kind of slipped me by. We met Eric at Essen, interviewed him again, and I was like, yeah, actually this looks quite cool, and then just forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, everybody's interviewed around it, so it was kind of top 3 for a lot of people.
Yep.
It seems like a really cool game. The miniatures look cool, but that shouldn't really matter, but it kind of does. So yeah, I really want to play that this year. I want to get that played at some point.
Yep. Okay.
What about for yourself?
So we earlier on in the year we played Battlestar Galactica for the first time.
We did.
So I had played it before, but only the once. And it's such a fun game. I loved it. But there's 4 expansions.
Yeah.
I haven't bought any of them yet. So it really...
That's got to be ripe for a second edition at this point.
You'd think so, yeah. I'm not sure. I swear I heard some rumblings that they want to reboot it anyway.
Yeah.
The TV show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know how true that is at all.
But even if they did that, the game wouldn't come out until after the first season.
Yeah.
So,
but they'd probably learn from. But yeah, like so I want to buy a couple of the expansions and continue
I
playing.
want to spend some money.
I do enjoy spending money. I think that's probably the biggest game, sort of, which is a bit boring because expansion's not an actual game. But
well, I mean, yeah,
we had so much fun with that.
I wish we'd had more time for some RPG stuff this year as well.
Oh, definitely.
Because I mean, our Star Wars campaign, we just stopped.
I think that fizzled out.
I think that was last year, but
we had quite a large group as well, and I think that started to become more difficult to get everyone together.
And then the same with D&D, similar problem. We started that. I had an awful lot of fun with that. Just being a dick and hitting stuff in the face.
Barely role-playing, you could say.
Yeah, exactly.
Barely
I think that's what I took to it. But it's, we just... that gaming group is also our board gaming group, and unfortunately...
Pandemic Legacy came out.
Well, I mean, even before then, like, they were just big games that... Like, Imperial Settlers, which, I know you didn't take to, but...
Like it was...
yeah, but our group loved it.
Yep.
And we played that for a few weeks, and then we went from that to Essen, coming back off Essen, playing that stuff, Time Stories, and then, straight into Pandemic Legacy.
So, yeah, like really in the past few months, we've not really been that diverse play-wise, and I think that's hurt the site a little bit. But yeah, no, it's been...
We probably won't review Pandemic Legacy, and if you're listening to this, you probably know that it's really good. But
right now, sorry to interrupt, Richard. Right now, it's the first in the BGG top list,
which is really good because there was a huge backlash against it when it hit number 2 in the BG top list.
There's still a backlash at it for number 1.
It's just I
think people take this list too seriously.
Yeah, well. I mean, let's briefly talk about it.
It's a different debate, isn't it?
So the backlash for Pandemic Legacy is because people don't like the idea of a legacy game which has a limited number of plays in the box. They just don't like the idea of it. They don't like that concept. But for the majority of people, 15 plays is quite a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'm thinking Risk, but Pandemic Legacy is potentially 24 plays, minimum 12. That's quite a lot.
Somewhere. Yeah, I also think a lot of people will find it because it's just come out. They're annoyed it's got to number 1
so quickly.
Whereas sort of number 2's Twilight Struggle, which has been out years and years, and it's had its chance to cement its place there. But I mean, it
might drop off.
It's the shut upside down effect, isn't it? When they say it's their favourite game, it helps. And
it's not just them.
Not to the detriment of the game.
But what I mean is, it's not just them. It's every board game site has done I don't think I've seen a single negative review from one of the bigger sites.
Yeah.
Dice Tower, it was top 3 for all 3 guys.
Yeah.
All the big hitters have come out saying how strong the game is, because it is.
Yeah, and while we won't review it, I think we can easily say it's one of our favourite games from 2015.
I mean, it's the game that we played from. When did we get back from Essen?
It was early October, wasn't it?
Yeah. So basically, that's what we played since we got back.
Yeah.
So every week, as close as we could, that's what we played.
Yeah.
Which is about as glowing endorsement as we can give for a game.
I think so, yeah. Definitely.
It's really, really strong. I didn't particularly like Pandemic. Like, I don't have anything against it, but I wouldn't ever say, I want to play Pandemic.
Boring after a while, doesn't it?
I hadn't even played it that much, and I was just...
Oh, really?
Just for whatever reason, didn't do it for me, but the legacy thing put so much more tension into the game, and... The narrative is really cool as well.
Yeah.
That kind of the story pulling you through the whole thing, that's grabbed me. and I want to know what happens next, and I want to hit all those objectives, and it's brutal, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, so let's talk about your favourite gaming experience of 2015. Only one, literally. I want you to limit it to your one favourite gaming experience.
Well, it's not going to be Pandemic Legacy.
I think that's fair.
I think Pandemic Legacy is consistently hype, but didn't give me the highs that I got from this game.
Yep.
So now I think you've got two different games in mind that it could be for me.
I mean, I can guess.
And it's actually Spyfall.
Oh,
I know, surprising you.
okay. Well, that's good because the one I was thinking is going to be my one.
Good.
So that's fine.
So yeah, Spyfall. I think we talked about at the time. I bought it as the game that we could play after we played a different game on a game night, and we played it for 2.5 hours.
4 hours.
Was it that long?
We played 4 hours. Because I remember that day because you didn't tell me at a time you were going to buy it. Because we obviously normally discuss.
I hadn't planned.
Discuss purchases. And yeah, you were like, oh yeah, I also went to the shop and I bought Spyfall. I was like, oh cool, I've heard really good things about this. Maybe.
Well, the reason I bought it was because everybody had been, again, similar kind of all the reviews, or rather talk, because it had only just come out, was really positive. And it's supposed to be out of stock everywhere. So I saw it and picked it up, thinking...
Because it's only 15, 20 quid.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't that bad. And yeah, that night was one of the best nights gaming I think I've ever had. Because it was just so much fun. And we were still feeling out the game, we were still discovering it, we were still finding out all the different scenarios, how to play, how to best weed out information, how to hide. We had about 7 people playing, which I think is the sweet spot for the game.
Yep.
In fact, that might be the maximum number of players, but certainly with less than 7, it just becomes a bit... It's just not as good. It's a lot of fun with that number of people. And we played it, we were passing around rum and cokes, and we played it for... apparently
responsibly drinking
4 hours, and it was just a heck of a lot of fun.
It was literally the embodiment of Civilization's One More Turn.
Yeah.
It's
Except
when you played Civilization, it's 3 a.m. You've got work in the morning. You're like, okay, but I'll just do one more turn, and because the rounds in Spyfall only last sort of 8 to 10 minutes each.
Yeah.
We were getting round. We were doing a whole lap of us. It got back round to Richard. It was like the first time. It was an awkward moment of.
Do we want to play again?
Is this going to happen? And we're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then the next time it was like, right, so this is the next one.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't even bother asking.
There was just no discussion. We just carried on, and we had it was such a great evening. I can definitely see why it's your highlight.
I think it's pretty telling. I'm fairly certain I know what your highlight's going to be, but we had a very similar experience whilst we were playing that.
Yep.
So do we want to roll straight into what your favourite is?
Let me just ask you now because Spyfall,
yep,
very enjoyable. We had a great time that night.
Yep.
Do you still love it as much right now?
Not as much.
Okay.
I still like Spyfall a lot. I would thoroughly recommend it to anybody that's played Resistance.
Yep.
I think if you hadn't played Resistance, it might be a little bit intimidating because the spy is on their own and can't do anything, and they have a lot less clear-cut thing to do.
Yep.
You need to play the game a few times before you know what to do, before you know how to behave as the spy and how to hide and how to play the game, basically. Yeah. And if you hadn't played a hidden role game before, and my immediate here's a hidden role play game you play is always the Resistance because it's superb.
Yeah.
I think that would be too much and could kind of scare people away.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, the more we've played it, it's kind of because half of the fun of it initially was discovering the different roles on the cards and just the different places you were, the artwork, and it's all so funny.
Yeah.
Whereas now we've gotten into, we tend to ask the same stuff all the time.
Yeah.
and it's just not as fresh.
Yeah, and I think it loses its appeal once you've heard the same sort of question
Yeah,
asked about different places.
but you get a ton in that core box. We've had more than our money's worth out of
Oh,
it.
definitely.
And that's the way I have to think about it. Like, I've had a lot of fun with it, and that's fine.
Yeah. So on talking of money's worth, let's talk about my favourite gaming experience, which I'll see if you've guessed correctly, would be the Asylum case from Time Stories.
No way. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay. I genuinely thought you were actually surprised, and I was like, what else would it have been?
No.
It was
No. It had to be.
As background, I hate point and click adventures. I find them pointless and rubbish.
I feel the same.
Don't hate me for that. That's just my personal opinion. But Time Stories is pretty much the embodiment of a point and click adventure. But it's
right down to all the ridiculous things that you can find along the way that have no real purpose.
Yeah.
Or need to be used in a very specific place, which is point and click adventures all over.
Yeah.
And that's why I hate point and click adventures, because I don't like standing there with two balloons trying to work out what I should put in them.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
That doesn't interest me.
So we demoed it at Essen, and I think we were blown away by it, and that's all we spoke about on the last day podcast. And then we brought the game back. No, we didn't. We couldn't get a copy at that time.
Oh.
Okay. Let's remember correctly, Andy. So we probably could have bought a copy the first day had we the foresight to do so.
Well, there was so much. I wasn't aware of Time Stories until we got there, and then initially I was only aware of it because you couldn't play the game because it got booked out at 9 a.m. when the doors opened.
Before the doors opened,
Yeah.
Most of the VIP guests who got in at 9 before the 10 o'clock opening managed to book.
Exactly.
So we played at Essen. Couldn't get a copy. There were a load of French copies available.
It's with the Space Cowboys. It's a French company. That makes sense.
But none of us speaking French thought that was a bad idea.
Yep.
And then I think you literally called up our local gaming shop and asked them when they were getting it, and they were like, maybe Tuesday. You're like, okay, well I want to reserve one then.
Yeah.
They were like, okay. And then we got one a few weeks later, and sort of jumped straight into it. I don't think we even waited. It was like, if you've got it on the Friday, Tuesday night, let's go play.
I think I went with the day. Yeah, exactly. It was like the first chance we got to play it.
I actually even think the shop opens at 11. You were like there at 11:15, like, I want my pre-ordered copy.
Well, but yeah, so
that was the hype that we had beforehand.
Yeah, and it was just not needed.
For the hype wasn't needed.
Sorry, it wasn't needed in terms of me picking it up. I think I could have got in the next day, not having pre-ordered it, and it would have been fine. But there was just no way we were missing out on it.
So we were pretty excited for it to before we even opened the box. And sometimes it can go one of two ways really, like that hype, because we only played a small part of the game. And I'm not going to do any times. We're not going to do any Asylum spoilers right now, so don't you worry. We've got a podcast out with spoilers.
Yeah.
So you can check that out on our SoundCloud page. Or on iTunes, we can look at the previous ones.
Or just if you just go to rollindice.com, search Time Stories, it will come up.
Obviously, our website. But there was that night. We played from probably about 8 until 12:30.
Yeah, that sounds about right. About 4.5 hours.
Yeah, or like 9 till 1. It was a late night for me, who starts early in the mornings, and there was just no way I was going to stop. We had some monumental highs, sort of uncovering the cards and finding out the next bit, or finding an item that was actually special, and just no other game has got me that sort of has provided that sensation for me, that, oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, we were standing up cheering and high-fiving when we solved puzzles.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done that with a board game before. I've never done that with a video game.
Yeah.
But it was because it's this kind of shared thing. Like, we're all trying to work it out. One puzzle in particular, we were just like, I can't remember who it was, but one person was like, no, we can't do this because...
That was me.
If we're wrong, then we've ruined the game.
Yeah. It wasn't that dramatic. I was
No, but you were quite wary, and we were like,
Yeah.
but this has to be what we have to do. And then
Yeah.
it was, and it was like, oh my god, this is incredible. Like
Yeah.
that, no game has given me those peaks in that way, and just it was a really cool little world to explore.
Yeah, and it's just it feels so different from anything else we've really played.
Yeah, I mean it's
It's like if we play a deck builder, we've played a few. We can compare it. We've played a few deck builders. You know, worker placement. We've played that, and just Time Stories felt so fresh.
it's
so
a
different.
system and a whole new genre.
And a whole new world.
Well, you know, it's a system, so it's like D&D is like it's not a game,
Yeah,
which I think is
something we should be aware of in the future, because maybe not all the scenarios, the games are going to be as good.
and like a lot of that is just going to be, does this scenario resonate with you? Like we were saying, I'm super hyped for the Egypt one because that seems cool. But you know, maybe you hate zombies. Maybe you're completely done with them. You're probably not going to like the Marcy case.
Yeah,
Maybe you love creepy asylums. Then yeah, just buy that core set. You'll love it.
yeah. And I mean, hopefully in the future they will release the create your own scenario stuff.
I think that's already up on their website, isn't it?
I've not checked in a while, so maybe I should do that.
I thought it was. It might not be. But either way, I'm sure people on Board Game Geek have found a way to make it their own.
Yeah, definitely. So that's our two favourite experiences from 2015: Time Stories and Spyfall. Both solid games. One much cheaper than the other.
Yeah, if you're going to buy Time Stories, buy it with the 4 people that you're going to play it with, and then it's more than justifiable, because you're not going to want to stop halfway through and play it with another person. So I think it's £35-ish pounds
for the core set, and
for the core set, so £8 each for 4.5 hours.
Or 6 hours probably, with that, because we had the knowledge of the demo.
Maybe, but don't go expecting to get Pandemic Legacy amount of play from this game. It's kind of a one and done. You could try and speedrun it afterwards,
which would be interesting.
Yeah, and I would like to go back and do.
I've actually forgotten most of the intricacies.
I think it might come back to you as we played. But,
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard sell as a board game because it is expensive for such a short amount of play.
Yeah.
But it's not a board game.
Yeah.
You're buying the system, which initially is expensive no matter what game it is that you're buying the system for.
Yeah.
And then it is a shared experience, so you might as well pay for it as a shared experience.
Yeah. And it's provided us some of the highs. But we speak about all this in our podcast where we spoil it. So if you've played it and wanna know more of our thoughts, then check it out. So let's look ahead to 2016, Richard.
Let's.
And I feel like you have written down some games that you're excited for in 2016.
I have,
which feels very prepared to me. But since I didn't, let's talk through your list.
Well, I'm looking at this list now, and some of these things
you can't remember what they are.
Well, no, I can remember what they were, but I'm just like, why is that on there? That doesn't excite me that much. But I think we don't. I'm sure listeners will come back to us now and be like, "Oh, well, there's all these games coming out." That's what I think the listeners sound like.
It's not how you sound like.
No.
It's more like, "Oh, hey guys, how about this game, which would be perfect?" But please comment.
There just doesn't I think at the end of last year we had more stuff that we were excited for, whereas this year I didn't have anything until I started looking at what was coming out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had one thing. But yeah, so I've got a few things on the list here. Scythe, the Kickstarter that
did phenomenally
well. I don't really know what it is. I saw a bit of it at Essen, but when there's that much hype behind the train, I want to jump on board, see what's going on.
I think that's fair.
This one was largely on the list because of Mr. James Dance, but it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
How outrageous.
Shadows of the Past, which is, from what I understand, basically Descent with the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So it's a kind of Imperial Assault-esque thing where you have a narrative that you're taking, as in Descent. where you're taking the turtles through the thing, which I think will be really cool.
I thought you were going to say the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles Dice Masters pack.
No, because
which he's really Jimmy.
James. Yeah, he's all about.
Super
but
excited.
We've not seen anything from since the initial announcement. That information could be out there, but we've
not seen it.
We've moved on from Dice Masters. The Attack on Titan board game, I'm quite excited about.
Yep.
I like the thing. That looks quite interesting. There's kind of a Titan thing in the middle of the table to climb. No idea how it plays, but excited for it. Star Wars Frontiers.
Oh, yep.
Which I'm not entirely sure what that is. No, Star Trek Frontiers, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is...
Different game too.
Yeah. You're thinking of Star Wars Rebellion, which is the next one on my list.
Yep.
Which I'm super excited for.
Because you don't own enough Star Wars games, do you?
I don't. I'll be honest.
Rich.
I've only got 2 copies of X-Wing miniatures game, old and new. A few ships for that, Armada, Imperial Assault. So there's plenty of space for more. I'll be honest. I've not got the RPG. I've not got the new Star Wars Risk, which is apparently quite good.
Yep.
But yeah, so Star Wars Rebellion, which is a cool kind of asymmetrical
1v1
1v1
board game.
Board game, exactly. Where the Empire are trying to exterminate the rebels, and the rebels have to complete some missions. And it just looks really cool. There's not a lot of information out there for it at the moment, but I know I get lost in the theme.
Yep.
And from everything I've heard, there's a really strong game behind it as well. It's Fantasy Flight Games. They are hitting home runs every chance they get at the moment. So I'm all about it. There's also Eric Lang's new game that he just kickstarted. Not just a few months ago. The Other's 7 Sins.
Oh, yep.
Because I like most of the stuff that Eric Lang does.
Yep. He's got a few games coming out next year. Actually, he was just around Christmas time. He was tweeting about he sort of only released 2 games this year.
Yeah.
But next year, I think it's about 6. So we've got a lot to look forward from that designer.
He is potentially the most prolific games designer out there at the moment. He seems to be all over the shop.
Yeah, he's doing such varied work with such different publishers as well, which is really nice.
Carrying on, the Seventh Continent, another huge Kickstarter that I missed. Looks quite cool. And The World of Android, which is the RPG set in the Android Netrunner universe.
Oh, okay. That sounds pretty cool.
Because Android Netrunner I can't keep up with anymore.
Yeah. But the world is super cool.
But yeah, there's a lot going on in that world that looks.
And there's two novels coming out next year.
Yeah, which presumably will help flesh all that out.
Yeah, one written by Alexander.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Which is really cool because she's a really creative writer. So.
And she played a lot of Netrunner, I think.
Yeah,
right?
she loves NBN. She loves it. The other thing I'm really looking forward to at the moment is the more Game of Thrones cards.
Yes. Game of Thrones is something that the Game of Thrones second edition LCG is something that I think hit both of us by surprise, really. I know you were excited about it, but then initially we played it and you didn't seem that into it.
Yeah, it took me a while to get into the strategy and the.
But then in the
enjoyment.
last 4 days, we've probably played it for about 12 hours.
Yeah, we played it quite a bit. We'll have some stuff coming out January, February time about it.
Hopefully a review. Watch out for that. Maybe some playthroughs. We don't know. Depends how embarrassed we are about it. Only problem with that at the moment is there's such a limited supply of cards to go with. We've both got 2 core sets each, and even that's not enough.
But there's more chapter packs, and the first deluxe expansion has been announced. So it's very exciting times.
Yeah, it's nice for me because I was so late to Netrunner. I felt as though I was playing catch up the whole time, and now I wouldn't even know where to begin. But it's nice to get in on the ground floor with an LCG, which is
often the case.
I think it's the only way you can do it, and it's probably a simpler game than Netrunner. There's a lot of complex things in it, but both people are playing the same game, which means that you've only got one thing to learn.
Yeah.
Whereas in Netrun, obviously, it's asymmetrical. So you've got 2 games to learn to be able to play it.
Yeah.
And you need to know both really well. But yeah, it's really cool. Really cool. I'd recommend it, and not too expensive either.
So there's like a load of stuff coming out in 2016 that we can look forward to.
Exactly. Those are things to spend
all your money on.
Yes.
All your money. So let's end this podcast now with chat about the site. A bit of admin.
Bit of admin.
Get through it.
Saucy.
What have we got planned for the sort of the first month of 2016, Richard?
Well, by the time this comes out, we should have a wrap-up post from last year from you.
Yep.
So this should be coming out on Thursday, listeners, unless something's gone terribly wrong.
More long term.
Not
just the first
week.
week.
You said for the first month, so I'm just saying exactly what's coming out. So more long term. We recently purchased a series of Choose Your Own Adventure books. It's the Fighting Fantasy series, which is Steve Jackson and Ian Livingston.
Yep.
Sure about that, Ian?
I felt like I needed to say yes.
Yeah.
To confirm.
And we've started playing through the first one of those. We got lost in a cave.
In a new podcast series.
In a new podcast series, exactly. So hopefully, provided we can actually
we'll make no promises.
Listeners, you should have a podcast every week.
Why have you done that?
So it should be alternating between this, which will be our regular Rollin Dice show, which will hopefully always have Andy, me, and a guest on. And then the alternate week will be whatever we name this Choose Your Own Adventure podcast.
The Choose Your Own Adventure podcast.
Why not? Exactly. If you've listened to Pod Your Own Adventure, we're just playing a Choose Your Own Adventure game, so
and having some fun.
Exactly.
Hopefully, you're going to enjoy it as much as us. And if not, let us know, because then we'll move on.
If you don't like it, there's no point us doing it. Although it was quite fun.
It's really fun.
We've also got some playthrough videos lined up. There were a few games that we didn't think we could do justice to by doing a review, because
that's not true. We can do justice to any review, Richard.
I think for games like Spyfall, as we previously mentioned, and Codenames, Obama Llama,
I think the fun from those games are playing them and seeing them played. So
exactly,
we could talk about it, or we could just film us playing it, and it will show the quality of the game itself.
And again, if you'd like those, let us know. If you don't like them, let us know. We probably won't do that for a lot of things, but for party style games,
the lighter games,
stuff that kind of lends it to that kind of format, we'll probably be doing that with going onwards. So
at the moment we've those are the big hitters we've got planned.
Yep.
But as usual, from in 2016, you can expect reviews, interviews, and podcasts, and videos, and articles, and
anything else you want,
and hopefully, and gameplay videos, and anything else we can think of. That will be fun.
How to play videos, if I can.
Oh yeah.
Pull my finger out my ass and get them done. They're just a lot of work, listeners, all right?
And if there are any editors out there that want to work for free, get in touch.
We can give you exposure. We can't even give you that much exposure.
To our 20 podcast listeners.
In fact, if you want to see how much exposure we can give you, watch Andy's nipple on show in the Imperial Settlers review, because that's about how far we can go.
So that's the level of exposure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that wraps up this podcast. It's been a great 2015. It looks to be an exciting 2016.
Absolutely.
And I think that's it from us. So, Richard, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting. If people want to find you on the old Twitter to shout abuse at you, or to say hi, where would they go?
I'd prefer the hi to the abuse, but I'll take what I can get.
Okay.
It's at RDS Rich.
Perfect.
You are
at RDS Jonesy. Because we're on brand.
Yeah, absolutely. We are
at Rollin Dice Show.
You can find us on our website at
RollingDiceShow.com
or on our YouTube at
/Rolling Dice Show.
or on SoundCloud at
I presume Rolling Dice Show.
yeah, exactly. Perfect. Nicely done.
I don't know for certain. And if you've enjoyed this, please give us a like. As usual, please comment and subscribe if you want to see more or want to chat to us. But until next time.
Oh, one more thing. If you're listening on iTunes, give us a review because we don't have very many.
And I think I still haven't reviewed us.
That's...
But I mean, that's illegal, isn't it?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
But please do. Like, we want to know where our listeners are because if most people are listening on YouTube, we might just have to swap.
YouTube
so we're
only.
solely on that. Anyway,
but until next time, hope you've had a lovely Christmas break, and best wishes for 2016.
absolutely. Happy New Year.
Thank you.